This is the prestigious Walnut Cup, and if you want it for yourself, you'll need to first win a majority of the competition events I've set up in my backyard, and second, be a squirrel. It rocks the neighborhood so hard, you're just gonna have to see it to believe it. So hold on to your walnuts, and let's get started.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Backyard Summer Games, where the greatest bushy-tailed athletes in all the world compete in 7 different events, including the long jump, the high jump, and spinning balance beam, all for the glory and prestigious Walnut Cup. I'm Chuck Acorns.
And I'm Jimmy.
Just going with Jimmy?
Yep, just Jimmy.
The ski jump event, where once they make it to the top, they have to take the walnut bait and then escape before the pneumatic cylinder fires and the trapdoor drops, sending them down the ramp and off the jump. Well, in that case, you could imagine there might be a squirrel named Fat Gus, who was a little more, sturdy, who just really appreciated the caloric value of a fresh walnut. And a squirrel like that would be at a distinct disadvantage here, where the key really is just not to get greedy. Because the longer you take to really just stuff as many walnuts as you can in your mouth, oh boy. Well, at some point, you just run out of time. And footage. Back at the ski jump, after a recovery and then a swift abandonment of ship, Fat Gus' superhero pose manifested his teammate Augustine steps up for her attempt. And while she's nevertheless more dignified in her nibbling, the outcome remained unchanged. This angle right here is probably my favorite, because it's like 1 second there is a floor, and the next second, there's not. But she recovers beautifully, like squirrels always do, because they're masters of physics, watching the other two from the sidelines and taking notes, and must have assumed it only fires if you walk directly onto the platform, because he did this clever number on his approach. And while he's clearly bad at deductive reasoning, he is good at scaring easily, which came in handy here, because before the floor barely even dropped. And finally, we have Rick, who plays a conservative, and while that might be less entertaining for the crowd, it secures the first gold medal of the Backyard Summer Games for Team Walnut Estates. By the way, the backyard next up is the second event of the Backyard Games, the balance beam, but with a twist. The goal here is for the contestants to simply get all the way across before the beam starts to spin on them. Now, they've been preparing for this event for a long time. Here you see toddler Augustine struggling at first, but eventually getting. Then over at Walnut Estates, Rick and Marty would practice advanced moves like the underbar crawl, who can resist a hanging chandelier. Immediately after making his way up onto the beam, he just goes for it and makes it all the way to the end. Almost. That's where his nerves ostensibly catch up with him, because he pees his pants, and then inexplicably tries to run all the way back to the safety of the start, where things end for him predictably. Next up is Augustine, and at the first sign of a spin, she yeets herself practically into my neighbor's yard. In the slow-mo, Rick followed that performance by stepping up and making such quick work of the beam, it never even had a chance to spin. Turn. Like, actually. You've just got to admire the tenacity here. And the slow-mo here is could be given for effort. The Backyard Games is all about results. So Walnut Estates is now up 2-0. Which takes us to the third event, called Quick Drop. Now the goal here is to nudge the large wooden ball off the cylinder to access the chewy walnut center. And just like with the balance beam, they've been training for this event from a young age. And here you can see the difference money can make, because while Rick was able to work with a near exact replica of the Quick Drop event, Fat Gus is over here dealing with the real Wish.com situation. Although still managing to look really adorable in the process. Augustine was up first and scoped things out, but ended up getting so particular with her approach, she couldn't settle on a strategy and left the platform with the ball unmoved. Then Marty comes up, and after another little flexing routine to psych up both himself and the bird stands, he's a bit more bold, but still pretty skittish. And you can't blame him for being skittish, because there are other animals in the neighborhood who are less interested in. See, Fat Gus steps up, and perhaps the tennis ball just wasn't close enough to the big wooden sphere after all, because this effort looked pretty similar to Augustine's attempt with no actual results. Which just left Rick, who was able to remove the ball without too much effort, but it's when he goes for the walnuts inside where he just really leaves it all on the table. And that gold medal performance meant Walnut Estates was now winning 3-0.
Well, this is a best of 7 event. That means that the first team to 4 gold medals wins.